Hi, good evening. Well, I would like to start with inviting you all to join me on a journey of imagination. Let's all travel through time. We're now not in the year 2025, we're actually in 2031, so 6 years ahead in time. You look around you, and what you find is that the landscape of the industry that you have worked in is completely changed. You look at the customer behaviors, and you find that it has shifted. New technologies, the business model that you used to work with is no more. The big question is your business ready to withstand such a strong wind? Or is it going to be wiped away with the high tide? But what if I tell you that there is a bigger question? Let's recall it again. New technologies, shifting customer behaviors, new business models. Is this really the future? Or am I describing precisely the world of today? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the future. The future that we used to talk about is actually today. And in order for you to talk about the future, you have to talk about strategic planning. Because as important as it was, it's more important right now. In the world that we live in, with all of the uncertainties, it's not easy anymore. It's tricky, right? Think about the winds and the tide, and they will come. It's inevitable. You have three options when they come. One, they're going to wipe you away. Your business is done. Two, you might jump into your cocoon and protect yourself, but you're going to fall behind. And three, you're going to ride the tide and be ahead of others. But you can only do that if you're prepared. And in the words of Coach Wooden, when opportunity knocks, it is too late to prepare. You either take it or not. Thank you so much for having me, for taking my opinion. I'm going to share with you my take on what it takes in order to fortify your business in the future. And it's actually going to comprise of three main steps. One, you're going to get rid of the illusion of stability. Two, you are going to fortify your strategy using a specific framework. And three, you are going to resist the resistance to change. So before we dive into the first step, which is getting rid of the illusion of stability, allow me to share with you a personal story. So let's go back to the year 2019. I finally thought that I had my life figured out. I had a good job, 2 bachelors, 1 master's degree, wonderful life, a newborn, and I was finally able to save some money with my wife to find a new house and buy a new house. You all know what happened in 2019, right? Overnight, everything changed. And the saving account that I used to put in, to chip in with my wife, we're using the money right now. A year passes by, and then I find myself helpless. I needed to do something. And I remember that night vividly. I walked into my wife, and she was working on her laptop. And I asked her, honey, I need to take all of the amount that is left in the saving account to prepare for one more step. I didn't feel I was prepared enough with 2 bachelors, 1 master's, and with a book getting ready to be published. And I wanted to use all of the money in a blink of an eye. She said, yes, go ahead. Knowing her, she's not a crazy woman. She's very smart, but she believes in me that much. And that's what I did. And I'm so thankful, by the way. I took that step. Believe it or not, if I hadn't taken that step, if I did not spend every last penny of my saving account, I would not have been the man I am today. it brought to me so many opportunities. It was all because I was prepared. And the same thing happens to a company. If you're not prepared, your strategy is going to fall into pieces. But how will you prepare for that is the main question, right? So stability is actually a killer that stands in every boardroom. Remember Nokia? Well, it had a market share of 50% at some point. In 2013, it was almost irrelevant in the market. Remember Kodak? They invented digital cameras, but they also buried it. All of these strategies, all of these big companies did not fail because they did not have enough resources, because they did not have enough money. They failed because they thought that what worked yesterday, what worked today, is going to work tomorrow. It doesn't work this way anymore. We need to get rid of the illusion of stability. And now that we have gotten into the mindset that stability is no more, we need to get into step 2. And step 2 says that you need to fortify your strategy with something that looks like a framework. And in order to do that, I would like to introduce to you the invention of the battery. You know the battery? The AAA battery, to be specific? Well, the battery has nothing to do with what I want to say, but now I can make sure that you'll always remember AAA. It's anticipate, adapt, and act. So the first one is anticipate. Big companies, good strategies nowadays don't really forecast the future based on what happened in the past. That's from yesterday. What you need to do right now as a successful company is to look for the very small signals, the weak signals with huge implications. Look at Amazon. They picked up e-commerce, and then they grew. They picked up cloud computing, and then they grew. The second one is adapt. Once you pick these signals, if you remain in the same way, you will not be able to improve anymore. Let's look at Netflix. First, they started off by delivering DVDs, and then they moved into streaming, and afterwards into original content. Was it pivoting? It was far beyond pivoting. They saw it coming. When their competitors woke up, they were already 10 steps ahead. And last but not least, act. Ideas will always be buried unless they're acted upon. Do you know a company that's called Borders? That company always believed that customers will always love the texture of a book, of a hard copy. I guess that idea did not age well, did it? And now, after you have gotten the first step, which is get rid of the illusion of stability, and the second step, the framework, the AAA, you are now ready to face the most fearful enemy to a strategy. Us, the people. We have such a strong resistance of change. And this resistance of change needs to be resisted. I will start off by telling you what's going to happen if any manager comes off to their employee and tells them that, hey, I know we have a plan. I know that we said that we're going to do so and so and so, but considering everything that's going on, I want to shift. Everyone's going to freak out. Your customers are going to freak out as well. You as a manager, as a leader as well, you will not like to disrupt your business, especially if it is successful. Well, it is a beast that you have to what? To face. There you go. You've got the 3 steps. The first step, get rid of the illusion of stability. 2, get a framework to future-proof your strategy. And 3, face the resistance to change. And before I tell you my closing remarks, and I'll leave you with a thought to think about, I would also like to tell you another story. And this story is about a little boy. This little boy was 5 years old. He always liked to get out on the balcony and watch the sky, watch the nature. Once in a while, a helicopter would pass by. An airplane would pass by. And he would always look at that plane and think to himself, I would love to see the world from above. I would love to carry people from one continent to the other. And that's what he did. He grew an obsession, and as he grew up, that obsession grew with him. All he wanted to be is a civilian pilot. And that was the plan. He mastered his academics. He worked on his physical fitness. He worked on his mental fitness. And he got everything settled and ready for the future. When he graduated high school, reality hit him hard in the face. His financials were not enough for him to get into a civilian pilot school. Well, he had to shift goals. He had to bring a new goal, a new objective into his life with all of his achievement and his preparations. Well, that boy grew up to be the man standing in front of you today. He became a pilot with a different suit, a military pilot. And the only reason I could do that was because I was prepared. I was ready when the opportunity knocked on the door, academically, physically, mentally, and I opened the door. It's the same thing that's going to happen in businesses if you think about it. The future is not a date on a calendar. It is a challenge. It is a design that you work on day in and day out. It belongs to you. And let's go again on a journey of imagination. This time, I'm going to take you, not time traveling, space traveling. So let's go together to a deserted island, an exotic island, and we're standing on a seashore line. We're looking at the horizon, and everything that you can see is what? Blue skies. It's very pretty. You know that there is land out there, you just can't see it. What would you do? You have three options. Sit back, relax, enjoy the scenery. If you have some company, enjoy the company, and wait for the weather to be, well, tropical, and then face it. 2, get yourself in the water, start swimming towards that land where the weather is sweeter. Or 3, you better get busy working on a boat and lifting that sail so that when the weather comes, when the wind is strong, and when the tide is high, you can catch it and you'll be far in front of everyone else. Which one are you going to choose? I'll leave you with this. The future belongs to those who plan for uncertainty. And when opportunity knocks, it's gonna knock only one time. You better be prepared. So listen up very closely. When you hear that wind howling so scarily outside, when you see the tide so high that you cannot look it in the eyes, you better be ready, dressed up, perfumed, and by that door to open it up when the opportunity knocks. Because if it knocks and you don't open, it is too damn late to prepare. Thank you. Thank you so much.